before the debate, do you want to answer? It would be 1 if you think the best is a listed private equity, and 2 if you think the best is non-listed, and we will ask you at the end to see if we change. Non-listed, 64 versus 36. I think this you have the work cut out for you then.
Right, some of the advantages. Listed private equity nowadays has one definite, clear advantage. When we set up Better Capital, we were able to raise money in a matter of weeks, not the 18 months that were then the average sort of time frame for raising a private fund. It's a more efficient way of raising money for the manager. The process is very much shorter. The liquidity for investors is the obvious thing about a quoted form. If you've got £1 million worth of shares in something with a value, with a market cap of a couple of hundred, you can probably trade out of those shares at or very close to the share price in the course of a day or two. That absolutely is not the case in a private fund, where you would be lucky to get a secondary transaction selling to a specialist buyer done in less than 6 months, and you would probably find the discount to stated assets very, very severe. So you get out at somewhere nearer the fair value than you can out of being an investor in a private fund. So why is listed better? Quick route to market. Transparent. It's definitely still more transparent than the private world. You get more information, you get it quicker, and you get it much more carefully checked. Potentially a currency, you can sometimes use the shares to buy things. It's liquid, and they're nicer people in the listed ones. Okay, thank you.
Coming back to this point, private equity is basically financial intermediation. That's all we really do. Like a savings and loan, we take capital from people who have excess capital, and we give it to those who can put that capital to appropriate use. That's it. That's what we do. The most important part of that, though, is alignment. And John actually mentioned this, that you have to have alignment in that relationship, or else you're going to run into a lot of trouble. It's all about alignment. It has to do with investor sentiment, and it has to do with the view that there's liquidity. And that's the fundamental problem. That's the fundamental mismatch that occurs. A belief that there's liquidity when in fact there really isn't. Thank you.
The figures you've given are sadly fairly accurate. A lot of it's to do, though, with the fact that it's permanent capital and it's NAV. And those are definitely issues which do push against the listed private equity. We've tried very hard and to an extent succeeded, at least so far, by going for a distributing model. We don't roll up our gains, and by not having NAV related fees, which increases the credibility of our numbers.
I think those are they're absolutely accurate points. I think the issue, though, still becomes you can buy at the discount, and in fact, if you think about it, you can buy at the discount and keep trading, and you don't really care that it's a discount. That's absolutely correct. But the problem is someone has to take that hit. Somebody has to make that zero premium payment, and then it gets going. And I think the issue here, and you're absolutely right, in your structure, which does have a self-liquidating system, which is very important, is that if you are trying to be Tom, and you say, well, I'll just stay. I'll stay till the NAV comes out, because the discount's got to narrow when the thing liquidates. I kicked you right back to, then why are you doing it inside of a public market? Why do you need that liquidity? Why is that important?
So it's now turn to vote again. So you can all now vote.